Okay, I have the Koolehaoda 360-degree KQ-08 horizontal rotating single handle hydraulic dampening 3-dimensional head for a tripod or monopod with quick release plate. I'm going to show you this closer up and show you all the bits to it. I'll show you all around it in a minute, but first I'm just going to give you the specs, what it does, what it has, then I'll show it to you closer up, then I'll actually show you the other head that came with the tripod I reviewed previously, which doesn't have a handle. It's just like a 360-degree bore head. I'll explain the difference and which I prefer and why, and then I'll tell you if I recommend this at the end. Okay, so it's all black apart from a bit near the handle. It's got a bit of a gold, but it's mostly black. It's high quality. It can load up to 12 kilograms onto it. As I've mentioned, it's 360-degree rotational, horizontal rotation, and it has a removable quick release plate with a 1/4-inch screw, and the screw on the very bottom on the base is 3/8-inch screw for tripods and monopods, so you can actually mount this not just onto a tripod but also a monopod if you prefer. It's made of aluminium alloy, and the whole thing, including the quick release plate, the whole thing altogether weighs 490 grams. Its base diameter is 50 millimeters, and the plate, the quick release plate itself weighs about 55 grams. It costs about £20 in the UK, £19.88, or in the US it costs about $31. It's $30.99. Its model is KQ-08. I'll show you it closer up in a sec, but basically to get a pan to pan up and down, you turn the actual handle anti-clockwise, then you can then position the camera, you can raise it up and down. Then once you want to just keep it in a particular position, you then turn the handle clockwise and it tightens up and keeps it in that position. The quick release plate bit at the top here, you can actually raise it up onto its side and have the camera sideways. I'll show you that in a sec. I won't actually mount a camera, but I'll turn it over to show you what I mean. It does have a spirit level, but unfortunately, unlike the bore head one that came on the tripod, this only has a spirit level on the side, which is useful for if you are turning it over onto its side. That helps you get a nice even shot. But mostly you're not going to be doing that. Mostly you can have it mounted normally, and there isn't a spirit level on top, which is really useful on this other head, because what I do is I set up the tripod without the camera on it, then I look on top to see if the bubble is in the center of the circle on the top spirit level. Then I know the tripod should be pretty straight, pretty level. Then I put the camera on, and then I double check it with the digital spirit level on the camera. This doesn't have a spirit level apart from the one on the side, which you don't use to line up a straight shot. You only use that if you've turned the quick release plate onto its side, which you're not going to be doing very often. So that is the only down point really I've seen, is that there is no spirit level on top, only on the side, which isn't particularly useful, I don't think, personally. Now here is the base. Underneath is where you screw it on, so you screw it on top of the tripod like that. Now this little knob here, you loosen it, and what that does, is it allows you to turn it all around horizontally in a circle. So it makes this part here move all the way around on your tripod in a circle. So if you want to do that, if you want to pan all around like left and right and stuff, you need to make sure this one's loosened up. This one here is loosened up, and that will allow you to turn it here. And there is a little gauge with numbers and stuff like 45, 0 and stuff on here. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, probably not. Now this here where the spirit level is, it's not just a spirit level. You unscrew that anti-clockwise, and then this quick release plate up top slides out. Now this one here, this knob here, you untighten that. And once you've done that, you can raise this up like that. And then your camera will be mounted out here, sideways from here. And then you can use the spirit level on top to make sure your shot is straight when you have the camera mounted to the side, which is very useful. having the spirit level on top like that. But it does mean that to use a spirit level, you'd have to have your camera mounted on the side, and how often you go do that? Only occasionally. So like maybe if you're filming a short film, you might want to get a bit of a different angle and stuff, and you'd raise it onto the side like this. But if you're taking standard shots, or you're filming, say like I am, a product review, you're not going to want your camera like that. You're going to have it flat down like this, tighten that. Then there's no spirit level up here like there is on some other heads, which is really, really annoying. I actually got quite used to having the spirit level on top on my other head, so that is a little annoying. Now, to turn it up and down, pan up and down, if I turn it over here, at first, if you're not used to handles that work this way, you think, well, how do you lift it up and down? It's really tight. Do you have to use an Allen key to undo that? Some people might think that, well, you know, you don't. In case you are a person that thinks that way, this here, you don't touch that. You don't use Allen key on it. It's nothing weird like that. You just simply turn the handle anti-clockwise. That loosens it. You can then raise it up and down. Then when you want to stop, you can screw it there, and now it's tightened again. It won't raise up and down. Here's the top with the quick release plate on, and it is a good quality quick release plate. The whole lot is actually very good quality, very good build quality. Before I had this tripod and this head, I had a cheap Hammer 67, Star 67 I think it was called, photography tripod, not a video tripod, just a standard photography tripod, and the build quality on that was atrocious. It was terrible. It was so thin plastic and flimsy. The stuff by this company, the tripod and this other head here I'm reviewing, is really got a decent weight to it, though not too heavy, decent weight to it, and you can tell it's quite, you know, it's really good build quality. There's the spirit level on the side, like I say, not hugely useful, because normally you've got to have it like this, and you'd want one on top. So that is the only thing I really see. Let's just turn it over. There you have, in the very center, you might not be able to see it on the camera, but in the very middle, there's 3 screws, and then in the very middle is where you screw it onto the top of your tripod or monopod. So yeah, it's a very nice, very, very good build quality, decent weight to it. You turn the handle anti-clockwise to pan up and down, then tighten it by turning it the other way. You can lift this head up, this very top plate bit here up on its side to get a weird side angle shot. You have a spirit level, unfortunately only really useful if you're turning it on its side, but there is at least that one. You can then tighten or untighten this one here to turn it around in a full 360-degree circle, and it's really, really, really good. Now, I'm going to show you in just a second the other bore head jointed head without the handle, the one that came on the tripod I reviewed previously, but let me just tell you why I prefer this one. With the other one, there was no handle. It was quite easy without a handle to just take the camera and turn it left and right, to pan left and right. That was very straightforward. But I found if I wanted to pan up and down, or even position the camera, say for one of these reviews, tilted downwards slightly at an angle at, say, a product, what I found was, in a way, it was actually too good. It was too fluid and too movable that I found the bore head joint would, you know, it'd be very hard. You couldn't just sort of pan straight down and know that it's going to be level shot, because it could be tilted at a kind of a diagonal angle, and you could end up having a product review, and the whole thing, or say like even if you're filming just a box for a pair of headphones, the box might be tilted almost diagonally. It's very little tricky to set up a straight shot, and that's going to be even trickier if you're moving. Now, if you're filming a product review like this, it's not too hard, because you just fiddle until you get the shot right, then tighten it down. But if you constantly want to move up and down, left and right to, say, film a short film or something like that, the trouble is you're never going to be quite sure, at least I don't think anyway, that you've got a steady, straight, level shot. Now with this one, it's nice and fluid really itself. Not as fluid perhaps as a bore head, but it is nice and fluid. You got the 360-degree turning. You can pan up and down easily, but yet at the same time you can actually get a level shot because you can have it straight on. You can set it up, mount it on your tripod, get the tripod set up, have it nice and level, but then you can use your handle to just very slightly lift it up and down in a straight sort of vertical way without having it tilted diagonally at all, so you can get a nice level shot. So you can pan up and down and side to side easily while maintaining a level shot. I'm used to tripods with handles like this, so maybe if you're used to tripods with bore heads or no handles and stuff, you maybe aren't going to have that problem. Maybe that kind of tripod head's going to be fine for you, and you're going to know instinctively how to get a nice level shot straight away, and it's going to be fine. But I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat as me and prefer a handle, and that really helps a lot. It's not just also the handle, it's the way you use the handle. It means that you can get quite a straight shot. It's not all floating all over the place, and I'll show you that in a minute with the other tripod head. You'll see what I mean by floating all over the place. It's a little too fluid, a little bit too, good in a way. I know that sounds ridiculous saying something's too good, but I find that it's just too fluid, that head on the other one. It just moves around all over the place, and it's very hard to get a level shot. Now I'm going to show you this a little bit closer up as well, but this is the bore head jointed head that came on the tripod I reviewed recently by the same company. Now the actual whole thing, the whole tripod together, had a different model number than just the head. The head here actually has its own model number, which is the KQ-09, as opposed to the other one, which was the 08. This is the 09. Now I am actually using the 08, the one I was just reviewing, the one this video is about. I'm actually using that now. So the camera, the actual head is mounted to the tripod and the camera is on it. So it is being used right now. Now let's have a look at the difference between the one I've been reviewing and this one, the 09 that came with the tripod. I'll point out those two main differences, the spirit level on top and then the way it works. Now, first thing you'll notice straight away before I even get it close to the camera is that this one does not have a handle. There's no handle. The only thing you can see is on the bottom right there, that little knob there. That is purely to tighten and loosen it. That is an actual handle to pan up and down. That is purely so you can loosen it, then you can move the bore head joint around, then you can always tighten that little knob and then it will stay in place. Now, as you can see, this is the top. This is the quick release plate, and that is removable, just like in the one I've been reviewing, except for it's a smaller size. And then here on top is the spirit level I was talking about being on top. Now, as you can see, this is the handle which loosens it to take the quick release plate out. Now that has one just like on the one I've been reviewing, but it also has one straight flat on top here, which is so useful, that one. But unfortunately the 08 that I've been reviewing, the one that this video is about, that one doesn't have this one on top. It just has the one on the handle on the side. So that is the one thing I miss on the 08 that I've been reviewing compared to this one I had before, is there's a spirit level on top. This one has one on top, the other don't. Now let's have a look at how it moves. Now, to move this top portion where the camera will be mounted on, we turn this. Then once we turn that, look, we even move it right down like that. Now that is actually really good. That's really good that you have that kind of fluidity. It's really fluid, moves all over the place, all directions, right in a complete bore, complete circle, left, right, up, down, back, forward, you name it, it moves in that direction. Now, that sounds good, and it is, but it also, like I've said earlier, makes getting a level shot a little awkward, I find personally, especially without a handle. If it had a bit of a handle, if they kept it this sort of fluid, but with a handle, that might help a little bit get that sort of more level shot. But unfortunately, the way this is designed, it's so fluid, so movable, but then it's hard to get a really perfect level shot when you're like, especially panning up and down. is a little too fluid. Now I know, like I said before, it sounds odd saying something's too good, too fluid, but I'm afraid it is. For me personally, this is too fluid. I prefer the other one, which might be a little less fluid, but he's still very flexible. He still has 360-degree rotation in a horizontal direction, and you can pan up and down, but keeping a level shot at the same time. It is so good, the one I've just reviewed. The only flaw with the one I'm reviewing now, the handled one, is that unfortunately it does not have a spirit level on top. That's such a pity. It's the only thing that lets this one down. Not this one, the one I'm reviewing. See, I do really recommend, I would personally, if I was buying this separately, this head, or the handled one I'm reviewing, I would get the one with a handle. This one might have a little bit more fluidity, it might move a little bit, it might slightly pan in slightly more directions, might be slightly more panoramic, but you can get a level shot easily, but yet it still move in plenty of directions, all around in a circle, up and down. But keeping a level shot. This one here just is a little too fluid for me, a little too hard to keep a level shot. Yeah, so I hope this review has been useful to you. Please like and comment on this video, and if you could do me a huge favour and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it will just take a few seconds and will help me out a lot. Also, if you're watching this as a review on Amazon, on the Amazon product page, please hit the useful or helpful button along with this video. That will help me out a lot too. Thanks for watching.